Everything in nature vibrates at its own frequency. Nothing remains at rest. The principle of rhythm states that everything has its own energy, which has a swing in nature, or a rhythm that keeps on traveling in a harmonic pattern. Just like a pendulum that goes back and forth from a point in space in a certain rhythmic pattern. The principle of cause and effect states that everything that occurs has a cause for it to happen. These are the real laws of attraction. These are the ultimate truths that have been kept hidden from society. We were unaware of these things until now. This is something that nobody wants you to know. They were kept hidden, locked and hidden for centuries and millennials, so that no one could know about them. The law of attraction that we know and hear about these days is a variant of the actual law of attraction. Many people know about the now prevailing law of attraction. But people are unaware of what the true and fundamental law of attraction is. You will learn about these today. These will be thought-provoking statements that will allow you to really know the truth. If you truly become able to understand those, every person will be talking about what they need from life, what they need around them, and what society needs from them. People want harmony in nature. People want their lives to be filled with happiness. People want their surroundings to be peaceful for themselves and their future generations. These are the things that people universally want. These are the deep-rooted desires that every human being agrees upon. We want peace, happiness, health, and prosperity. We want freedom in life. These are all the things that are required of us as a human species. These requirements need to be met. The coming-of-age laws and techniques will tell you not to think about these things, that there is no need to focus your energy on these things. And if we as a human species do not work and do not put our energy into meeting these requirements, they will not become true overnight. We cannot achieve harmony without trying to manifest these things. There is no magic to make something happen. It is within us that the real law of attraction states that needs to be put into action to meet these requirements. This will come from gaining knowledge about the real laws of nature. We're kept from knowing the true nature of the laws. The actual knowledge that could be the root of our harmony in life and society is kept occult from us. Notice that the word occult here comes from the Latin word occultus, which means hidden from sight. This knowledge is kept secret by people who believe themselves to be in higher ranks than other humans. These people believe themselves to be the masters of the world. They do not want you to know these things, and they do not want you to know the real truth. They want themselves to be at the top of the pyramid, to be in control of everybody else. The pyramid represents the level of knowledge that you have. The closer you are to the base of the pyramid, the less knowledge you will have. The more you reach the top of the pyramid, the more you will be awakened and knowledgeable of the real law of nature, which is only known to a very few people in reality. The majority of the masses are living in delusion. The majority is leading their lives without any knowledge, life of ignorance towards everything around them. True knowledge can be divided into two parts. The first is the arcana, A-R-C-A-N-A, which is also derived from a Latin word that means knowledge. The knowledge of the consciousness of the human brain. The conscious mind of a human being is a very limited study. You can understand it based on behaviors and patterns. It can be manipulated according to our needs by giving it what it wants. The second part is the greater arcana, which consists of the laws that govern the results of the actions that the consciousness is capable of making decisions about. These are called universal spiritual laws, karmic laws, or even God's laws in some religions and cultures. This true knowledge is hidden from the larger mass of human existence for the sole purpose of being able to be in control of the majority, for creating a power dynamic between the spiritually awakened and unaware human masses. They use the primary part of the knowledge, the arcana, to create distractions and illusions that keep the human brain away from achieving real true knowledge. Distractions work on the functioning of the conscious brain. The release of dopamine and adrenaline is heavily triggered by these distractions. The majority of social media sites are sources of such distractions. All the video games, phones, and televisions are a source of manipulation for the masses, keeping them away from attaining knowledge of the real truth. Suppose truth is a white dotted line on a 2D spectrum, and our perception crosses this line in the form of a frequency. Keep in mind that our perception will not change the truth. Our perception is a way of seeing the truth. The point of observation of a certain reality can be different from individual to individual. We can say that one person's perception is close to reality, so the pitch that will form will not be oscillating far away from the white line, whereas another individual who has a different perspective and is unable to comprehend reality will have a pitch of highly oscillating frequency. The number of times the frequency crosses the white line indicates the amount of reality that the second individual will be able to grasp. Our perception will not change the truth. Our perception is a way of seeing the truth. The point of observation of a certain reality can be different from individual to individual. We can say that one person's perception is close to reality, so the pitch that will form will not be oscillating far away from the white line, whereas another individual who has a different perspective and is unable to comprehend reality will have a pitch of highly oscillating frequency. The number of times the frequency crosses the white line indicates the amount of reality that the second individual will be able to grasp. Whereas the closer the frequency of perception will be to the white line or the actual truth, the more the person will be able to comprehend it. This person will be able to understand the realities, patterns, and behaviors of life. It depends on the amount of consciousness or conscious awakening of a person as to how much they are able to perceive the truth or eternal reality. If a person has no knowledge or ability of comprehension, then they will have a really high frequency pitch, which will mean that there will be fewer points of contact with reality or truth. For them, the frequency will keep on moving higher and higher, and eventually that person will not be able to perceive reality in its complete, true form. Keep in mind here that perception is just a lens through which we are looking at reality. This lens cannot alter the eternal truth. The truth will always be the same, but the lens through which we are looking at it might differ. It all depends on the R complex of the brain, which comprises the stem part of the brain and the cerebellum. This part comprises the lowest consciousness of the brain and is not involved in any kind of thinking process, but is a reactive region to external stimuli. The other parts of the brain, such as the hypothalamus, the pineal gland, and the statutory gland, etc., are all located in the middle part of the brain and are responsible for playing the role of emotional facilitators in the human mind. You see, our brain is divided into two equal halves, the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. The left hemisphere comprises the logical and reasoning portion, which allows you to think rationally and logically and gives you the ability to understand scientific facts and mathematical and linear thought processes. Whereas, on the contrary, the right side of the hemisphere is responsible for the creative functioning of the human mind, facilitating all the emotional dynamics, channeling that inner creativity, and recognizing patterns in general. So basically, the left side of the brain represents the masculine part, or the masculine characteristics, and the right side of the brain represents the feminine part of the brain. In ancient cultures, these were symbolized using an upward-pointing triangle, a rudimentary phallic symbol representing the male. While a downward-pointing triangle or chalice represents the right side of the brain, is the female side. It could also be a representative of the womb symbol if you look at it closely. If the left side of the brain becomes more dominant in an individual, their personality will be governed by selfishness and self-fulfillment only. A desire for dominance and control will be their basic nature. Whereas if the right side of the brain is more dominant, the person will become emotionally vulnerable and submissive in nature. The dominance of one side disrupts the natural flow of consciousness. So there has to be a balance between the two sides. Only the balance between the two sides can create the awakening state of real consciousness while bringing real morality and ethics into consideration, leading to a higher form of individual intelligence. Intelligence and intellect are two different things. Intellect is an individual's conscious aspect, while intelligence comprises a person's ability to be creative with their logical thinking and reasoning, along with the ability to be nurturing and compassionate towards others. We have to be intelligent as a species in order to bring about holistic balance in our surroundings and in our lives overall. In order to bring about this change and fulfill our requirements, we need to understand the natural law, which consists of 7 basic principles and a hidden 8th principle that combines the 7 principles. The basic 7 principles consist of mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. All these principles are related to each other, primarily connected by the hidden eighth principle. Let us begin with the first principle, the principle of mentalism, which states that everything that you see in the actual world is a manifestation that has been created by the power of the subconscious mind, which also relates to the second principle, the principle of correspondence, which states that whatever is on the inside is on the outside. Everything is a reflection, like a mirror. Whatever is above the surface is also below the surface. The principle of polarity states that everything works in pairs. Everything that exists has an opposite pair that is identical in nature, leading us to the principle of vibration, which states that everything in nature exists with a vibration. Everything in nature vibrates at its own frequency. Nothing remains at rest. The principle of rhythm states that everything has its own energy, which has a swing in nature, or a rhythm that keeps on traveling in a harmonic pattern. Just like a pendulum that goes back and forth from a point in space in a certain rhythmic pattern. The principle of cause and effect states that everything that occurs has a cause for it to happen, and everything that happens creates an effect. Cause and effect are dependent on each other simultaneously. Whatever is happening in the present is the cause of the effect that is going to be realized in the future. This cannot be changed. The past cannot be changed at all. You have to either accept it or reject it. And finally, the principle of gender states that every masculine component has an opposite feminine component, balancing it in a harmonious manner. We have also discussed this in the previous section where we talked about the brain and how the left and right cerebral hemispheres are meant to balance each other's components. The eighth, the secret principle of natural law, is something that holds all of these principles together. It is like a vessel in which all of these laws are held together in a balanced and harmonious manner. For example, imagine these 7 principles of nature represented as a circle where each circle overlaps the other. The hidden principle of nature, or the 8th circle, is the seed of life. This is the circle that is in the center of all of these 7 circles, holding them together strongly and cohesively. It is like the root or seed from which all of these 7 principles germinate. So in order to bring about a change, you need to begin working at this very basic principle. It is the root principle that propels forward and affects all the other principles through the action of care. When you care for something, it gets your attention and your energy. If you are avoiding something, then you are giving it your energy of ignorance. You do not want to do that. You do not want to let negative energy spurt out of any kind of your energy. In order for you to fulfill your requirement, you need to be the giver of attention, which also includes compassion and love for the things around you. You want to focus your attention on creating and manifesting the world of your desire, which is in perfect balance and harmony with itself by using your caring energy. You need to change the direction of your energy towards bringing about a positive change, consciously putting your energy into it, which will eventually negate the negativity itself. When your heart is in the right place, your mind follows. Your consciousness becomes aware of that desire. Your consciousness follows the path shown by your heart and reflects on the external world. This must be a daily practice for you. The things that you put your energy into on a day-to-day basis are the things that are going to manifest into reality. Now combine all of these things, and you will get into a state of unified consciousness. When you start giving your energy, you begin to care for something as the first step, and being completely aware of the situation without having the fear of the negative is crucial. We need to come out of the unaware state of mind into the knowledgeable state of being that we are supposed to be in, and put that knowledge into action. This will take you to a higher level of intelligence. Being aware of our surroundings and creating shared experiences that are filled with care and compassion for others generates harmony in oneself and brings balance back to life. Our shared experience will bring about the change that we wanted forever in life, and our creativity and manifestation will begin to generate results with the help of the eternal source of power. This is what we were always meant to be. This is who we truly are.